Hey everyone, this is Kate Weatherwise, your favorite weather girl, coming to you on Tuesday evening, February 10th, 2026. It is nearing 8:30 on the Pacific Coast, which means it is 11:30 on the East Coast. What tonight's weather video is going to be about is mainly focusing on the east. We have some breakdown of the high pressure that's out on the west coast, and it's going to bring snow and active weather out there. I will focus on that on a weather video tomorrow, but tonight it's going to be on the east. We have a system moving through. I'm just going to take us over to radar right now. This is the current radar situation. We have some strong thunderstorms that have popped up and are moving through northeastern Kentucky into southwestern West Virginia. There was some strong thunderstorms have been embedded in these clusters here tonight, up and down. There's been some hail reported, some heavy rain, and these are all moving to the east, as you can see by these trackers right here. Now, there's a lot of warm air, warm and juicy air, so this is going to continue throughout the night, but there's not a whole lot going on. There's another little thunderstorm bubble down here in southwestern Tennessee where you could see some thunderstorms as well. There's been some reported rain. There's a possibility for thunderstorms here as well. Now, it has been warm here. It's warm here right now. It is 11:30, 10:30 at night here, Central Time Zone, and it's still in the 60s. So it's pretty warm here, pretty juicy here. So we'll see if those thunderstorms pop up and move through there tonight. And if you head to the northeast, up into the northeast, we see some snow being reported up here in Massachusetts and Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, up into Maine. So there's outside of that, there's not a whole lot that's going on around the country. There's a little bit of rain being reported into Texas, up into New Mexico, and then some rain being reported because it's above freezing here in Utah. The temperatures being above freezing is going to change here starting this weekend and especially next week in this area. This is going to turn into snowfall instead of rain. So next we are going to take a tour around the satellite imagery with radar enhancement. This is that trough that is sort of paralleling and coming across the Mid-South and creating those thunderstorms that we just saw here into Kentucky and West Virginia. And it's stretching all the way back into the Dallas area too, where there's some rain, and into Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama as well. So, and I talked about this a little bit earlier today on my Facebook and my X account, my pages, where this low pressure system, and I talked about this last night, this low pressure system is sort of just parked here over the ocean, but it's not really moving very much. It's just pumping in southerly winds with some snow here in the mountains, lots of snow here in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and some rain on the coast, some rain inland, and some rain to the north. We have, this system is expected to just die out here right on the coast. It's not going to move inland. It's going to just sort of meander around here for the next day or so, and then it's supposed to die. It's expected to die out, but it's going to bring all that rain. No, not much in the way of flooding rains, but there is some rain that is being pumped into Central and Southern California and Northern California for that matter right now. So, but let's focus back here out on the east, which is what this video is going to be about tonight. Now, we have talked about two different models here last night. We talked about the European model, which is it's waffling. It's not catching on. It's not being consistent. That's the best way to put it. It's not being consistent. And I'm going to take us over here to the European model right now for this system that is coming through starting Saturday and then moving into the southeast and into the mid-Atlantic and northeast on Sunday into Monday. It's still not quite getting a grip on where it wants to go. It's not handling very well how there is a lot of cold air. There's a lot of frozen rivers. The Chesapeake Bay is frozen. All the rivers are frozen because it's just been so cold. So that is going to help keep the temperatures down because the ground is frozen and there's snow already on the ground, especially in northern Maryland into Pennsylvania and on up. So as the system comes across, this is saying this is Wednesday as that system that's currently over here moves east, and then this below average temperatures still remain, and they kind of traverse south a little bit on Thursday. But then as we see into Friday, this European model has that system starting to pop into our radar Friday night into Saturday morning, and it drags across. Now it is saying, and there is some indications that there will be some thunderstorms and possibly severe thunderstorms across the south with all of the models. So I think we are going to see some thunderstorm activity. To the depth of how severe it's going to be, that remains to be seen. I will keep an eye on all the severe weather aspects of this low pressure system that's going to ramp up as it moves across south here. Now, it does have the thunderstorms coming through. This is Sunday, early Sunday morning, but it takes, as you can see, there's a little bit of pink here into southwestern, central, western Virginia on Sunday, early Sunday morning around, the 10 o'clock time frame. And it has this system just skirting south and being mostly, if not all, rain, because the low pressure is going to be south enough that it's just not going to allow for that cold air that had been in place a couple weeks ago, but is not going to be in place for this system. And the colder air is going to stay further north. So the rain is even going to eke up with the European model just into southern Maryland, southern Delaware, and then it's going to head out over the ocean where it will create some wind. Both models have indicated wind on the coast. I think that's a given for this storm once it gets off the coast. But we do see a little bit of pink here in very, very southeastern Maryland and lower Delaware. So the cold air then moves with it, and then the warm air returns. So there's that model. And now I'm going to take us over to, this is the Canadian model. And so we head through that. It has this system that's currently bringing in the showers and thunderstorms into Kentucky and West Virginia. That sort of sags south and dies out. And then as we get into Friday and Saturday, we do see this system ramp up here in north central Texas with rain and then some snow back here towards the west into the Four Corners. And then it traverses east, stays not a super low pressure system, but as it moves east, you can see this storm track. This is taking more into account. This Canadian model is taking more into account. It's handling it better. Like, it's taking more into account the frozen ground, the frozen rivers, the frozen bay, just how frozen and the blocking high up here. See this 1030 millibar high, this blocking high. So it's taking that into account better than the European model is. The European model, like I said, it's not consistent. It's not giving us a consistent, what is it going to do from run to run. So this has snow. This purple area is snow. This pink is mixed precipitation, if not a little bit of freezing rain here into West Virginia and southwestern Virginia. And then this is a little bit, this orange right here is mixed precipitation or sleet. But this whole area, it's saying snow for the northern half of Maryland into Pennsylvania up into New York. But even then, it's not going to be a lot. And then it's saying that it's going to transition to rain by the middle part towards the end of it because of this warmer air advecting north from areas that are warmer. So this is, and then it continues to rain, and the rain just sort of hangs out for a little while. This finally moves through. That system will move on, but the rain stays with us off and on through Wednesday. So that is the difference between the two models. Now, like I said, the European model is sort of all over the place. The Canadian model looks to be handling this system better. So it's still, today's Tuesday, it's still 4 or 5 days away, and there's still a lot that's going to happen. And we'll continue to watch this model to model run about what is actually going to transpire over the weekend for the eastern part of the country. The severe weather to the south, the rain here, and then the possibility of snow from about central Maryland north. Now, what I also wanted to go and see and show you is this is the Canadian model for snowfall and what it's bringing to us with this storm. This is Monday, by Monday morning, 4 o'clock Monday morning. So it's bringing in just a couple inches here, and then more as we head back into Western Maryland, and then of course all the snow up into New York and to New England. So that's what we're looking at as far as the model for snowfall is concerned with the Canadian model. So that is how we're going to gauge it. How I'm going to gauge it is I'm going to be focusing on the Canadian model this go around, unless something changes with the European model, because it's all over the place. It's kind of like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. So, but I wanted to show you this really quickly too. This is the Canadian model for temperatures throughout the next week or so. We have some colder air, but the purples and the deeper colors, purples and pinks, are staying up into northern Canada, into the Arctic. And then the warmth, you'll notice here, the center part of the country is going to stay warm. That bubble of high pressure is continuing to stay here in the center of the country, where it's not going to change a whole lot. Maybe overnight temperatures will cool down, but the west and the east, the northeast especially, the south, you're going to stay nice and warm down here. In Florida, you're going to return to your typical mid-February temperatures. And as you can see, this is Thursday. And then by next week, it's really going to get colder here. I'm going to push through this pretty quickly so we can get to where I'm talking about. You sort of see these pinks and purples on the move south. And then by next weekend, we get an invasion of, this is Thursday, February 19th and beyond. We get an invasion here into Montana of these really cold temperatures, and a little bit of maybe modified Arctic air over here in eastern Washington, and then colder down here. And then of course you can see the warmth returns for the east. So I have been talking about locally in eastern Washington how the latter half of February into March is probably going to be when winter actually shows up for us out here. This is starting to come into shape. Of course, I'm going to continue to watch it, and then it's going to flip-flop and bring in the warmth to the east, which is kind of, that's where I've been gauging it. Is the west staying, or is the east staying cold? That means the west is going to be warmer. And now we're starting to see that flip-flop coming into play by this time next week and beyond. And then we'll see when and if it does flip-flop again. I'm sure it probably will, but I will definitely be keeping an eye on it. So by the end of next week, that cold air looks likely to return here, with the warmth returning here, and we'll see where we sit in Texas. But the East Coast looks to be warming up. It is going to be towards the end of February by that point. It is still technically winter. February is very much known for giant snowstorms and just crazy weather. So we will see where we land. But that is going to be it for this video. Again, if you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button, comment, and hit the notification bell. And of course, share, share, share. It really helps me out. All right, that is it for this time. I will be back with another update tomorrow. But this is Kate Weatherwise saying bye for now.